Good morning, everyone, and welcome one more day to your channel. Today I bring you a very interesting video that I think many people will find very useful. Today we are going to talk about domains, hosting, and how to understand this whole thing that many people are not clear what each thing is. So, let's start. Let's start with what is a hosting. A hosting is nothing more than a server on the internet. It is a computer that is connected to the internet, which should not be turned off, because if it is turned off, our website would stop working. So, it is a computer that is constantly on. This computer is the one that will store our website. Let's say that a hosting is like a drawer on the internet in which we have our website. Evidently, on the internet, there are many drawers, there are many hostings, there are many servers. Then, to identify each one unequivocally, we need an IP. Therefore, each hosting has a specific IP. Let's imagine for a moment that the IP of our server, the number that identifies our box on the internet, is 1.2.3.4. Let's imagine that this is where we have our web page uploaded. In my case, for example, borjagalisteo.com. So that, being this number who unequivocally identifies my drawer in internet, that is to say my hosting, if I in the navigator, in the URL, put 1.2.3.4.2.80, because it is the port that they use for web, you would see my web page. And everybody who wanted to enter my web page would have to say, hey, enter my web page, which is 1.2.3.4.2.80. That wouldn't make any sense. And this is where the issue of domains comes in. A domain is simply a name. In my case, borjagalisteo.com. In your case, it can be myshop.com or whatever.com. To simplify, is more or less the name of your website. But the things we can do are very important that you do them right. The first thing you could set up perfectly is a redirect. Let's imagine that you want your domain, for example, borjagalisteo.com, to redirect to your Facebook, because you don't have a website yet, or because you don't want to do it, or simply because there is not all the information you are interested in, but you want to have your own domain. Well, simply in the domain configuration, this is done in one way or another, depending on where you bought the domain. It depends on the graphical interface that the company provides you with. So you can configure it so that when you enter borjagalisteo.com, it takes you to facebook.com/borjagalisteo. And that's it. You don't need anything else. In the case we are talking about now, normally what we want is that our domain serves our website. So what we have to do is, in the configuration, we simply have to set the DNS configuration correctly. And now comes the big question, what are the DNS? Because many people have clear a domain that is and a hosting that is, but do not take into account a very important thing, which are the DNS servers. And it is something quite simple for the amount of people who understand very well what it is. So I'll explain for a moment what DNS are. A DNS server is nothing more than a relational table between a name of the website, as you bought it, borjagalisteo.com, and an IP. That is a DNS server, so that when your browser asks borjagalisteo.com to be able to offer the information in the internet box with the IP 1.2.3.4, in the middle there is a table that relates a name to an IP. So the flow is as follows. We open our favorite browser and in the address bar we type borjagalisteo.com. Once we make enter, the browser looks at the domain borjagalisteo.com, what configuration there is. In the case of being a redirection, it redirects and that's it. But in my case, it has some DNS configurations. It has the name of a DNS server. So it goes to this DNS server and asks, hey, borjagalisteo.com? What IP is on the internet? So my DNS server tells him borjagalisteo.com is IP 1.2.3.4. And it goes back to my browser. My browser from behind, which is very intelligent, says, okay, so I'm going to go to server 1.2.3.4 and see what's there. And what do you see? Well, obviously, it is the web page that we have in that hosting. And this is the information that is sent back to our web page, to the browser. And it is what we see in our computer. This really is a quite complicated subject, and there are many very complex things to explain. Of DNS servers alone, I could make a complete video explaining all the configuration options, as well as domain. I could explain all the kind of domain configuration, where to buy a domain, the price it has approximately, what is a domain, what kind of domains there are, .com, .es, depending by countries. It is something very complete. As well as the hostings. There are millions of hostings, many types, many prices. But this is a general video for people to understand how one thing communicates with another, and more or less understand what is a domain, what is a hosting, and how this is understood. And this is the end of today's video. It has been a quick video, simple, and I hope that everything has been very clear. If you have any questions, you have below in the comment box. You can comment whatever you want. And if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe. I'll be uploading interesting material every week. See you in the next video. Best regards. Ciao.